165344 here. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to maintain your locomotives and set up a nice workbench or a little workstation so you guys can do it nice and properly without damaging your locomotives. So let's start out with padding, what you need to do to place down and keep your train safe. What I use is this little bit of styrofoam here. This stuff is, you can find it at your craft store. What you do is you put that down where you're going to place your engine. And if you already have a workbench, you can use that, but since I don't have a workbench, I'm going to show you how to do this my way. But you're going to need some little things that keep the train from rolling over on the sides. But today I'm using a pair of pliers towards the back so it's not damaging my locomotive. So I'm going to grab my EM-1 here. I decided to do this video because there is squeaking noises inside of it, but oiling the wheels might find a problem here. So since I got my train here, I need my pliers here. See, it keeps the train from rolling over. Okay. Since you got your train, make sure you have like the bell that's up. The bells aren't going to get broken off because those will break off if you're not careful. Little parts and stuff. Make sure you be really careful with that. So when it comes to maintaining your locomotives here, you got your oil. Okay. I got this at my local hobby store, but not the actual hobby store, just like Hobbytown USA. It has a little needle, which is great for getting into small areas between the drivers and the locomotive chassis. What else? You can go to the store and get a Lionel cleaning maintenance kit. Excuse me. Comes with some grease. Comes with a thing of oil, which I use it to refill my needle oiler, and a thing of track cleaner. So those are pretty cheap. They're like I think $10, I think, or more. But I haven't gotten any lately, so I don't know. So let's get started here. So what you do is you get your oil, and you all probably already know how to do this, but I'm just doing this because I want to. So what you do is you get the oil and you just do a small little drop on each little axle. Nothing a lot, because if you over oil it, it's just going to start blackening up little parts and stuff, and it will look really bad. Maybe to other people it will look cool, but I don't like it. So you just get each little driver with just a little bit of oil. Don't overdo it. And that. Then you get your wheels. Push the wheel so you can't tell, but just give you that. You get the wheel here, here, here. Okay. So, and then you can lubricate the rollers, but you have to be really careful not to get too much on there. You just put a little bit on the outside, not on like right between the roller and the holding pin. You just put it on the outside like that, and the oil will get on there so it's not so squeaky. But if you put too much on there, you'll lose contact, from my experience in the past. And then when it comes to oil, you see this. If you can see this, there's this little tiny copper bar right there on the wheel. Do not oil that, because that is ground for your engine, and if you lose more ground on the engine, you lose contact, and then it starts acting kind of dumb. And it's not a pleasant thing, you know. So that's nice and steady. Okay, now when it comes to greasing the gears, you can use your Lionel grease that you use, which I don't like using because it's really watery to me. Well, apparently it's not watery anymore, but when I use it, it's really watery. But I use my old Lionel maintenance kit here, and then it has actually little tiny cleaning tools and stuff, but I use the grease from this because it's much nicer. It's more like a gel. And what you do is you get a screwdriver, and you can tell these little screws that says grease right here, and then there's at least 3 of them on each wheel on this particular engine. So what you do is you unscrew it, and then take the screw out, and then there's gears and stuff inside there which you can't see, but you take your grease and you push it in there and just squeeze it just a little bit, not a lot. And then you do that for each screw, and then you screw it back on. And there's a little washer that comes with there it is, that are on the screws that keep it down. And you just make sure you don't lose that washer, because then it's not really, it starts leaking a little bit sometimes. You can also put a little bit of oil in there, but I recommend not doing that. So you unscrew each one of these, and a little bit of oil, a little bit of grease. Screw it back shut. One sec here. And then just get this truck. A little bit of grease. Whoops. Yeah, that's I almost dropped the screw here. What is that? Thank goodness for magnetic screwdrivers here. And then get all those things down. Since I already greased this side already, I'm not going to do that. So you have to be really careful not to put too much on, or you'll start and it will get on the. And then if you over oil them, it will get on the traction tires, and then you lose traction, and then the wheels start slipping. I've had that in the past, and then once it gets all over the wheels, it gets all over the track, and then every section of the track is all oily, and then you have to go back and clean off every piece of track, and it's not really good. It's probably not that bad if you have it on a small layout, but if you have it on a big layout where you can't get the pieces like mine, it's kind of a problem. So I use a vinyl track cleaner car, which it works okay, but I don't clean my track as much. But when it comes to maintaining your locomotives, make sure you don't use a lot of grease. You actually just don't use a lot of everything. And then you can oil the drive rods and stuff, because sometimes those squeak. So you just do a little drop on there. Mostly when you do it, put just a little drop right here. Okay? And then if you can't, I don't think you can see, but you can see that I accidentally over greased it, and there's a lot of black marks and stuff on the drivers. See, little black, it's just dirt and grease and all that. So that's how you do it. And if you have more external, like inside of it, you can hear squeaking. What you have to do is you have to take apart the engine. And if you take apart the engine, you have to make sure you don't lose any screws. I have accidentally lost screws in the past. And then there's a gearbox right under here, inside here, and the command board is attached to that. So you have to carefully unscrew that. Don't strain any of the wires or anything, or you'll mess that up. And then you unscrew 4 screws that hold down the thing, and then you pop that open, and then you get your grease, and then you grease the crap out of that. Make sure spin the gears a little more, grease that up, and then you put it all back together, and then it should be more quiet. If that's not the case, just keep tinkering around with greasing, oiling tiny little parts like the drive shaft. On my Allegheny, my drive shaft squeaks sometimes, so I have to go in and lubricate that up. But that's pretty much how you do it. So you just have to be really careful when you do this, because you might break apart if you have it upside down. But pretty simple. Hope you liked the video. I'll see you next time.